What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Thursday Night Football, Houston Texans, Philadelphia Eagles. We got all the betting and gambling advice you guys could get here. It's Kyle Dvorchak at Kyle tweets here on Twitter. Lawrence Jackson at Lord Don't Lose. I'm Vaughn Dalzell at V-Money Sports. Kicking off today, man. How we doing, Kyle? I'll let you start first.
Not bad. We gotta please one good game. Give us one good Thursday game.
Do you think this will be the one?
No. I'm saying I already have decided that this will not be the one. I haven't looked ahead to next week, but my faith is waning.
I don't know, Lawrence. I feel like that Texans money line's talking to some people. What you think? It's not going to be a good game?
It ain't talking to me. It's quiet to me. It ain't in my ear.
You need to get that one a megaphone because I cannot hear it, in fact.
Hey, look, I'll take Texans money line that first week that Deshaun Watson come back. I would take it more so than taking it now. But wasn't that Raiders and Chiefs game, was that a Thursday or a Monday night game a few weeks back? Pretty much the last time the Raiders played good.
I think that was a Thursday. Was that a Thursday game?
Not really sure.
That was the last. That might be the last time we had a good primetime game because we haven't had.
Yeah, it was a Monday night game.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Thursday night has not been the best of games for sure this season. But this one, I don't know. I mean, if you got Eagles first half -7, you're probably jumping for joy right now. They are the lone undefeated ATS team in the NFL, 7-0 against the first half spread. It went from -6.5, -7 out to -8 now. So yeah, it's probably not really bettable here, but I see big pros. They're laying the 14, laying the 13.5 with the Eagles. Before we jump into the viewer questions, you guys got any opinions on the spread or total today? Do you just think it's fly Eagles fly all the way?
I don't have no choice but to feel any other way. You know, they've been Eagle flying the whole season. Kind of had a close game a few weeks back with the Cardinals on the road. I don't foresee that type of thing going on here. They don't have the type of offensive players that the Cardinals have. Don't have the type of team that they have. They got one player on offense, and it's a rookie running back. You know, so
he's the best player.
You know, but it is the NFL. But damn, I just can't visualize that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Is this the Damian Pierce game, Kyle? Because, you know, with the news of Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks being out, we saw his odds for rushing and rushing attempts shoot up. The rushing attempts prop was at 14.5 this morning. It's up to 16.5, juice to go to 17.5. So everyone's expecting Damian Pierce to run tonight. Are you feeling the same way?
I mean, they're going to try. They're going to lose doing it because the way you put up points. I mean, they don't have any other choices, though. So I guess I can't really make fun of them too much for it. Like, the choice is have a really typically efficient runner. You still lose, or embarrass yourself with Davis Mills. So they're going to do it. It's probably not going to get points on the board, but they don't have any good alternatives. And even if you out there as a listener have more faith in Davis Mills than I do, he has no chance to succeed with the receivers they're trotting out. So it's not like they have an out to, well, maybe we have some playmakers, a Brandon Cooks or Nico Collins. They have nothing. So it is an all Damian Pierce game. I'm just not sure how successful that's going to, I am pretty sure how successful it's going to be. Not great. It will probably be good for fantasy because touches are good for fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, no Jordan Davis for the Eagles. I think that definitely helps the Texans ground game a little bit here. Not necessarily a huge amount, but last week we saw a couple runs break through for Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. They're like 15, 17, 18-yard runs. And you know they're going to load the box against Damian Pierce tonight. But with all the evaded tackle rates he has, as strong as he is as agile, he might be able to break off a couple of long runs, maybe some 15, 20-yarders. So the only way I was thinking about playing Damian Pierce tonight was his rushing attempts or longest rush attempt over 15.5. I think that was probably a pretty good bet. But we got tight end talk already. No surprise. Dallas Goedert, Gerald Everett. What do you guys think?
I'd probably go Everett. There looks like there should be a lot of targets up for grabs for the Chargers. I don't think we have an official Keenan Allen ruled out yet. But if you come back from the bye and you are somehow less healthy, things have not gone well. They don't have Mike Williams already. I mean, their top options, Josh Palmer and DeAndre Carter, who's like a career special teamer. So I'll go Everett here. I mean, obviously, I think I like the Eagles offense more, but Goddard's share of the pie is relatively small compared to Everett, who could be like not distant from a pseudo number one receiver.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Los?
I don't even disagree with that. Even though as I look at my rankings here, and I got Dallas Goedert at number 4, but I got Gerald Everett at number 5. Gerald Everett's not a tight end that I have as a top 5 tight end every week.
Mhm.
Dallas Goedert is, and the reason Gerald Everett is that high, I actually wrote about him in my Flex article this week. So I'm going with Gerald Everett right here for the reasons you mentioned. The Keenan Allen probably not gonna play. It don't sound like it. Mike Williams already out. The Falcons not good against tight ends in fantasy. Everett coming off a high target game where he got over 63 yards. They could do that. He could do that here against this Atlanta Falcons team. So wait that out. Now if Goddard score, Jan, don't be
It's
mad at
good.
us. But he got a lot more people to compete with when it come to targets than does one Gerald Everett.
Yeah, there's also some great stats out there too about how many positions have scored touchdowns against the Texans. It's been like 80% of running backs scoring touchdowns, 11 touchdowns on the ground, or from running backs in general. I think there was only 2 receivers and maybe 2 tight ends. So chances are Goddard probably does not score a touchdown tonight. And given the ground and pound effect we might see from both teams here, I don't think be many touchdowns from tight ends. Sorry, Kyle. And briefly, because Lawrence, you said it about the Falcons. They play the Panthers next week on Thursday Night Football in Carolina.
Well, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be
Yeah.
for the division lead right there.
Are you gonna become a Falcons fan again?
No, we do real winners here. We do real winners here.
Roll winners
Seahawks,
only.
Giants type things, man.
Seahawks, definitely. I'm on the Seahawks this weekend, man. I haven't tweeted it yet, but I'm on the Seahawks this weekend. Believe in Geno. Chris Olave or Damian Pierce, flex spot in your PPR league.
I'm really scared about Dameon Pierce tonight. And if you have him on your fantasy teams, you seeing that projection of 16 or 17 points. I've seen this across multiple leagues that I have him, and I'm just thinking like, man, how he gonna get that? Where he gonna get this from? Like it was like pulling teeth just to get him some points last week. Luckily, he got the garbage touchdown at the very end off the pass. I'm just trying to figure out where it's gonna come from. Even if the Texans are behind and they having to throw the ball, you could see maybe Rex Burkhead getting in there some. And even when they did, it's not like Damian Pierce is Alvin Kamara out the backfield either. I just don't know where the points gonna come from. I'd rather go with a Saints offense and Chris Olave, who's now the clear number 1. Well, he been the clear number 1 wide receiver on 18. I'd rather go with him this week since that offense is humming now and Chris Olave in his bag as well.
Yeah, I can't be backing Texans here. It's just such a bad spot, and especially for a running back. Like if there was any chance, I mean, he somehow got there last week with the garbage time touchdown, but you don't think of the running back as the garbage time secure. So it's just I totally agree with Lawrence. Where is he going to score points from? He has to do so much. The offense is so much reliant on him, and when that's true of any running back, I don't care how talented they are. It's just so easy to beat that type of team. Like you have to pay no respect to Davis Mills in this game. Stack the box every time. Damian Pierce is still beating you, then you're just bad. So I'm going to go Chris Olave. He's just been a true number 1 receiver. And I feel like that's much more independent of the situation, which Damian Pierce is unfortunately in a bad one.
I'm going to ask you guys a question and also make a statement here following that. So how much does it go into playing fantasy when you have a player like Damian Pierce playing on Thursday night compared to Olave, who plays Monday night, and you get him as kind of like your last resort? But also, I want to give a shout out to Ricardo because he said, let's get it. And he said the Raiders are some booty, but the Ravens secondary is some booty. And that's what Chris Olave sees on Monday night. So does that factor in at all?
No, they got the Olave's playing the Ravens.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Raiders.
No,
Ricardo said Raiders.
Yeah, I'm saying Ravens. Yeah. The Ravens secondary is bad. So I would like Olave on Monday night too, but how much does it affect your judgment from a Thursday night football player for a Monday night football player, if at all?
For me, not really, man. Now, you can get caught up in the mind games of it, but they are playing a football game. One of them is just playing Thursday, and the other, it only gets tricky when you're thinking about injuries are involved. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say Olave was hurt and your choice was between him and Dameon Pierce, then you will be going Dameon Pierce right here to have a safe play with the guy who's not injured. For me personally, that's the only way these Thursday night games has affected me. Other than that, we got to get it out because we get it in our head that players playing on Thursday, if they're not an elite player, that they gonna suck on Thursday. We get that in our head, right? Right. But because Jalen Hurts, nobody's questioning that. We gonna play him. Yeah. But when you get Dameon Pierce here as the lone Texan Ranger going up against a top team in the NFL, we like, man, should I just wait it out? Well, you're going to wait it out, but it's because of the matchup, you know?
I hear that for sure. We're going to get a couple questions here. This one, Taysom Hill continues to be the man. My tight end / flex option in 2 different leagues. Not letting me down. Would you guys start him over Goddard? This is a non-PPR league, though. Taysom Hill definitely with that touchdown upside. You got to like that.
I don't want to start Taysom Hill, but I think I'm starting Taysom Hill.
You're coming around now.
They've been using him a little more in the Taysom Hill ways recently, too. He didn't have a target, I don't believe, through 3 weeks. In the past 4 weeks, he's averaging 1 target and 2 pass attempts per game. He also had like 1 pass attempt through 3 or 4 weeks. So he's getting that, plus his rushing volume is up. Like, he's like a 7-8 carry plus a few pass attempts plus a target. The dumbest
it's
setup.
Awesome.
But is they're giving him now work in every way, where at the first 3 games of the year, it was like 3 carries, 6 carries, 4 carries, and you were just praying for a long score. Now he's got a floor of 30 to 40 yards, and he probably does have more touchdown equity than Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the touchdown upside's there to take him over Dallas. Do you have any opinions on that, Lawrence? And do you have opinions on Devontae
I was
Smith?
shocked that they let Alvin Kamara score 3 times.
Why? He was due. He was real due.
Because they always get him down there and let Taysom Hill. He steal all the touchdowns away, man. But I ride with old little Tay.
What about Devontae Smith? He's a guy that's definitely certainly overdue for a touchdown. Not as bad as Alvin Kamara probably, but
yeah, he do. I would start him. Another guy I wrote about in the Flex article. Don't let last week deter you. It was an AJ Brown day. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen when you the top dog at receiver. Devontae Adams has had good games as well. Not like that, but he's went for $160. Had another game with 100 yards. Had another game with 11 targets, 10 catches. He getting 60 yards a game. I actually like a lot of his props tonight, so I'll throw him in there. Now, you might think, oh, well, Eagles going to be up. They just going to run. Well, they have to get up first. You know what I'm saying? They got to get up first, and they'll use the pass game to do that, which they did in week 8 versus the Steelers. So they got no shame in their game throwing the ball. So I think Devontae Smith could get back to it.
Yeah, I see a lot of people on Devontae Smith tonight. I'm going to be fading an A.J. Brown prop coming off his huge career high performance, 156 yards against my Pittsburgh Steelers. As soon as I turned that game on and started watching it, I was like, why did I not bet A.J. Brown anything in this game? The Steelers are so terrible. Do you like this little same game parlay? Either you guys, 50 yards, 6 receptions, and a touchdown? 6 receptions might be a little bit of a stretch in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was about to say, I do, because the over-under 50.5, I like the over there. The 6.5 receptions, that could go way over or way under. I think his natural over-under is 4.5. I like that. I think he's trying to get that little extra. He's trying to get the little extra, with the 6 receptions. But I mean, if you're gonna go for the 6 receptions, I'd rather just throw 60, 70 yards in there with it. Or I would go 4.5 and 50 yards in the touchdown.
I agree with that line of thinking exactly.
About some Kenneth Gainwell talk tonight. He's going to be I'm going to talk about him a little bit later. I didn't put him in the rundown, but I'm going to talk about him later. But Kenneth Gainwell or Paris Campbell, half PPR, #down bad.
You are indeed down bad. I assume this is, I hope, if this isn't related to the fact that there are 6 teams, plenty of good ones on bye, then maybe you should just give up. But I assume that's the case because I have some teams that are quite bad this week too. So I think I'm going to go Paris Campbell here. We've just seen such an impressive dominance of the backfield from Miles Sanders, and I'm not sure he's the one they're giving the ball to in garbage time. Like that could very well be Boston Scott, or I don't know. I doubt they made Trey Sermon active, but like they have a lot of ways to not give Kenneth Gainwell touches.
I ain't starting no Kenneth Gainwell. He had a single carry last game. That
His
is
one carry go for a
dangerous.
touchdown tonight, though.
Say what?
His one carry tonight could go for a touchdown, but he probably have more than a couple carries tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah. Even if he
Boston
get
Scott,
that
though.
one carry or 2 carries for a touchdown, it's like the Boston Scott thing scare me.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't like, it ain't like now I'm terrified of Paris Campbell now that Matt Ryan is in the game. You see him 2 catches for 43 yards the last game. The previous 2 games, he had 11 and 12 targets, 7 and 10 receptions, and touchdowns in each of his last 2 games with Matt Ryan. So I'm terrified of him too. But at least I know he'll be in the game.
Yeah, I checked too. They did give Boston Scott all the garbage time run last week. Final drive got 5 carries. Drive before that got 3 carries. And before that, starters were in. So if like there's such a thin path to walk where he doesn't get a lot of touches when Miles Sanders and the starters are playing, but then he doesn't get touches when they go up and beat their opponents by a lot. So even though Paris Campbell is also like you said, Matt Ryan was the perfect skill set for him, not as much Sam Ehlinger. I'm still going Campbell, hoping there's some juice there just by being out on the field for the bulk of the snaps on a not the worst offense. I don't know, they're pretty not good, but not the worst. Kenneth Gainwell he's like drawing dead to get 6 touches.
You said something that intrigued me there about Boston Scott getting the garbage time touches. That gave me the thought process of last touchdown score, Boston Scott.
I checked on this one. They did, to be fair, but MGM a little smarter than I would have given him credit for. They juiced down his last compared to his first, which in in the ether would seem like they should be the same, but obviously they understand it's not.
Yeah, I did sprinkle a little Boston Scott tutty. Not gonna lie, don't know if it's gonna work out for me, but we'll see. Another guy that bet Boston Scott tutty is our special guest tonight. Bringing him back. You guys remember him. Bobby Stanley, our guy from Pickswise. Bobby, how we doing tonight?
What's going on, fellas? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, man. You excited? Texans Eagles? Juiced up?
About as excited as you can be for a 14-point home underdog in a primetime game. But it is football, so yes, I'm excited. I can bet on it.
Will we be watching more Phillies and Astros in this game?
I'm not a baseball guy. I'll flick back and forth between probably Golden State, Orlando, and then the NFL. But what sucks is with the apps is I got to close Amazon, go into YouTube TV, go back to Amazon. It sucks.
I hear that, my guy.
I see you. Are you in LA?
I am in good old New Jersey, but I'm a diehard LA Rams fan. So
I'm out in Jersey as well. That jersey you have in the background right there, you can see half of it. Is that a Cam Akers jersey right there?
Lawrence, you are spot on, 100% right. That is Cam Akers. It's a Cam Akers autographed. So I won it in like one of those raffles. Yes, I'm a Cam Akers Rams fan, but he is also my Achilles tear brother. So no matter where this guy goes, I will always root for Cam Akers. He was what he did coming back from September to, I guess, December playoff football on a torn Achilles. I've never seen anything like it. So love the guy, respect the guy. Hope he bounces back with the Rams.
He got a full practice today, so maybe maybe he could I don't know, bounce back. Look, when he was gone, it ain't like the Rams all of a sudden start running the ball good, so he still got a shot. I hope he do.
Yeah, I don't remember like the Ronnie Rivers coming in and taking advantage of the situation game. Like everyone has been terrible for this team on the ground. It's not just him.
They have, and they started 7 different combinations of offensive line throughout the beginning of the year. They just get Brian.
All of those combinations are bad too.
They were bad. They actually, believe it or not, if you want some hope, they're coming off their best performance actually last week, at least from a pass protection standpoint. They may have found a 5 that is manageable. But Brian Allen at center coming back helps. There's no word yet if David Edwards is going to bounce back from the concussion. He was at practice in shorts and a hat, so not a good sign. But ultimately, there's light at the end of the tunnel with Cam Akers that they're trying to repair it. Can he show up and put out 4.5 yards per carry and just say, all right, let's put that behind us? He's got nothing else to lose. The Rams aren't going to cut him. They have nothing to benefit cutting him. So you make it work, and if it doesn't work, you cut him in the offseason.
Two thoughts on the Rams before we get into this game tonight. Cooper Kupp thoughts with what just happened to him. They did that. I think they solely gave him the ball there just in case he's going for that receptions title or that yards title at the end. Something like that means something. Also catch the over 7.5 receptions for me on that garbage catch. But Odell Beckham Jr. too. What are your thoughts on him as Rams fans? Do they really want him back? Now is it more than ever? Are you seeing it more being pushed on Twitter, bringing him back?
I mean, it's been pushed for the last couple of weeks with OBJ. I would love to have him back, want him back very, very badly. He would have been the Super Bowl MVP if he didn't get hurt. I think we would all kind of agree to that. He has a lot of options, and I think he has a little bit of leverage now if he wanted to go to the Rams, because apparently the Rams lowballed him back in September. They didn't make any moves at the deadline. They know their cap is what their cap is. They're not bringing anyone else in. Odell Beckham can actually be a little more demanding financially if he wanted to with the Rams, and I think they should do it. There's no reason to think that they're going to become some 10-11 win team with this roster right now. So if I'm the Rams, I want OBJ. I think it's possible. Maybe he ends up in Buffalo now. Kansas City's off the table with Kadarius Toney.
I was going to say, Bobby, I'm sorry, but actually Lawrence and I have both penned him in as a future Baltimore Raven with the loss of Rashad Bateman. Please.
Oh, man, please let that
You
happen.
guys can have Will Fuller. He's still out there, probably on an island, has not thought about football in God knows how long.
Man, what you mean? Will Fuller, he here. Hey, Will, come on, man. What you doing?
But I want to see Odell to Baltimore.
He's Lawrence's intern.
Yeah. Give my coffee, Will. Come on, man.
Lawrence, what part of Jersey you from, man?
Well, I live out here in Morris County, man. Morris County holding it down.
Very, very cool. All right, cool. We're not too far off. I'm in Middlesex. One day we got to watch some games, man.
For sure.
All right. Let's look at tonight.
Tonight's games. You got a couple props you want to talk to us about. Wherever you want to take it, man. The board is yours.
The board is mine. All right, I'll start with Dallas Goedert over 46.5 receiving yards. Beginning of the season, he hits this line in 5 straight games. Then he gets Dallas and Pittsburgh, who are top 10 in tackling, according to PFF, and top 10 in receiving yards per game against opposing tight ends. So defensively, they've done a really good job shutting it down. So that's kind of where he faltered over the last 2 weeks. But in the first 5, he was on fire. So now they get the Texans tonight. 29th overall in tackling, 25th overall in yards per reception to opposing tight ends. So it's a good matchup for him to bounce back, especially at this line. Evan Engram, Gerald Everett had good games against the Texans, but they haven't really seen a top-tier tight end this season if you look through their schedule. Goddard also had a stretch to start the season, 5 straight games with a reception of 23 yards or longer. I think he gets back to that tonight. So he can hit this in realistically 3 receptions if he gets that long one. And his longest reception is 19.5 yards if you're looking to go another way.
I like that thought process too behind it. There's going to be a lot of play action here for the Eagles tonight, especially since we expect them to be running heavy, a lot of RPO type of schemes. So I could see it. I know Kyle in his notes was talking about the tight end, saying that he didn't feel very confident in many tight ends tonight. I think we all can agree Dallas is the number 1 tight end on DFS and betting tonight.
Sure.
But Kyle, what are your thoughts?
Specific. That was Houston specific. We can talk about the Houston skill
players later.
You
don't want Brevin Jordan over 17.5? That's not enough gamble for you?
I do actually have a Houston tight end over, but it's not.
That ain't bad. 17. Is he playing now?
Brevin Jordan's playing and Brandon Cooks is out. So 17.5, if the line's still there, it's looking desirable.
Oh.
Davis Mills is the 3rd most bet prop at BetMGM. His under 219.5 passing yards. Of course, the public sees no Nico Collins, sees no Brandon Cooks, and they're not going to be able to throw the ball whatsoever. But sometimes that's the best situation, taking quarterbacks over because he has to, especially if he's down a ton.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hate that look whatsoever here. Where else you going tonight?
I'm on Dameon Pierce, the rookie running back in primetime, but I like him over 86.5 rushing and receiving yards. If the trend of Thursday Night Football's unders stays clear, this could be a competitive, close game. then you get a little bit more Dameon Pierce in the second half than maybe you would have originally projected. Jordan Davis, defensive tackle for the Eagles, he's out. He's on IR. He was kind of a staple in the middle of that defense from a rush standpoint. And Pierce loves to run between the tackles. Of his 539 rushing yards, 318 of those came after contact. So he's not afraid to bang up. And the Eagles are not one of the best tackling teams in the league, so it kind of works in his favor. Guy has a broken tackle every 7.6 attempts, which is the best in the league. So I think he's going to get the ball early and often. Can he make something with those touches? Obviously, they're going to stack the box against him, but he's young. He's a rookie. He's got juice in the legs. I like it from a rushing standpoint. If you look at the receiving, he's got 20 catches for 98 yards. He's involved in the passing game. So if this does go negative game script, I've just buffered in those dump offs in the fourth quarter where he can kind of chew up. Maybe he gets 20 or 30 yards receiving at the end of the game. So hit this in 5 of 7. I like Pierce over 86.5 rushing receiving.
I certainly think he's getting 20-plus touches tonight. We talked about him a lot on our Bet the Edge podcast tonight, and we saw his rushing attempts line go from 14.5 to 16.5 with all the news out. And, I mean, he, like you said, he's been very, very good in the passing game because he kind of has to be. We know Rex Burkhead's there, but they'd much rather have Dameon Pierce. And him being young, this short turnaround isn't as substantial to Dameon Pierce as it is to other running backs in the NFL. Lawrence and Kyle, do you guys have any opinions?
Who do you like more, Bobby, this weekend? Dameon Pierce or Kenneth Walker versus the Cardinals?
This week specifically, Kenneth Walker. I think he's got a way better. Yeah, way better matchup with Arizona. I was actually looking at his longest rush prop. I think it's over 17.5 yards. I was expecting that to be like 18.5, 19.5. He's just got a better matchup. He's a little bit fresher. He didn't really start the first 2 games of the season. And he's got a way more explosive offense than, obviously, Houston. So
he doesn't play for the Houston Texans.
He doesn't play for the That's a big bonus for any offensive player in the NFL.
Yeah, I like this prop, though, especially with the receiving yards added in, because we've seen the first 2 weeks it didn't really look like they were going to use Dameon Pierce. It was the Rex Burkhead show as a pass catcher, and they've phased Rex Burkhead almost out of the offense entirely. Over the past 5 weeks, he's seen Dameon Pierce has seen 13 more routes, more targets than Rex Burkhead. And even in a game that was blowout, they ended up throwing Dario Gunbwali in as their third down back too. So it's clear that not only are they committed to running the ball with Dameon Pierce, even when they're throwing the ball, he doesn't have a bad target share. So I like including rushing props for him as well, because if he struggles on the ground, you at least give yourself an out.
Yeah.
Since we're on the topic, Dameon Pierce, we had an interesting tweet go out today from NBC. We thought we would talk about it with you briefly. Would you rather bet Dameon Pierce for Rookie of the Year or Jalen Hurts for MVP? Odds are almost pretty similar here. So, strong opinion at all on either of those?
I gave this a good amount of thought when I saw it come up on the pre-read, and I'm looking at it. Okay, you got Dameon Pierce, Kenneth Walker, you got Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. How big is the gap, and what are the narratives? If Dameon Pierce and Kenneth Walker finish dead even at the end of the season, their narrative is always going to be Geno Smith. They had Metcalf. They had Lockett. How good of a job did Pete Carroll do coaching this team? I think if it's a dead heat, they'll give it to Dameon Pierce. If I look at Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, if they finish completely dead even this year, at least as far as production-wise, yes, you'll have the possible 17-0 narrative. That's what he's going to need to beat Josh Allen. But this is cooked in for Josh Allen this year, and he hasn't disappointed. Going into a season, he was the MVP candidate, and we're at week 9, and he's the number 1 leading in MVP. I see no reason why he doesn't ride this out to the end of the year. I would go Pierce just for that reason. If it's that close, Pierce will get the nod over Walker versus Hurts over Allen.
What I would say this, and tell me what you think about this. If they were dead, even Kenneth Walker and Dameon Pierce, right? Seahawks win some more games. Pete Carroll's in there for Coach of the Year. Better team. Kenneth Walker because they got DK Metcalf and Geno and Lockett, but they have Kenneth Walker. Like Kenneth Walker ran for 168 yards a couple weeks. Like that's real. And if he could like get these types of numbers and they find themselves in a playoff battle and the Texans are trying to win their second or third game, you don't think that narrative could be like, Kenneth Walker ran his team to the, playing for the playoffs and stuff like that?
I mean, if that happens and they start calling him the next Derrick Henry, certainly he's going to be a top 6 pick fan. No, I mean that's pretty much what you're alluding to. Is he that Derrick Henry type player where this team hit their success?
Just a player on a winning team, just a player as opposed to because you remember James Robinson as a rookie, he went for almost 1,100 rushing yards, but he wasn't getting no rookie of the year because the Jaguars suck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the narrative for Dameon Pierce here, not to win the award, is what you're saying.
No, that's very, very fair. I didn't think about James Robinson. Hey, man, if you keep stringing together 2 touchdown performances and he's shaking this Seattle stadium like he has been, I see no reason why not. I was just looking at the gap between between their 1 and 2. But no, it's fair. What Walker's doing, K9 in Seattle is impressive.
That's kind of how I was thinking about it, though. Is like there's such a clear prohibitive favorite for MVP that is Josh Allen. Like he is, like you said, he was the MVP coming into the year. There has been no change. If anything, he's almost been better than that. So
they would have to lose games because
exactly that's the out you have.
Yeah,
too.
He's beat the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, who's 3rd right now. He's beat Lamar, who's 4th right now. You know, so Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will have to go, 16-1.
Yep.
Him keep up this pace and I would think the Bills will have to lose 3 or 4 more games.
Yeah, that's like I love Jalen Hurts just the way it's trending. Given like the gaudy stats we're gonna get from Josh Allen, is that you need a stumble at least from the team, right? It could just be bad defense, like they get some injuries on defense or whatever. But you need the records to really favor Jalen Hurts because that's just the one path he has to winning the award, barring his numbers going up even more somehow.
Yeah. No, I love Kenneth Walker. I think if he was a running back 10 years ago coming out of Michigan State with the season that he had, over 1,600 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns, he'd be a no doubt first-round pick. But that's how much the game has changed now that a guy like him slides in the draft. But, yeah, he was amazing, 31 touchdowns in his last 2 years as a Spartan.
About 10 years ago, Michigan State did have a running back come out. He, too, went in the 2nd round.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yes,
sir. He went to my Steelers.
He's a hell of a boxer these days.
Yeah, let me tell you something about Le'Veon Bell here. Le'Veon Bell was the first little guy we have, and he still sits on top, him and Antonio Brown. I haven't banned them from my fanhood.
You got stay true, man. Stay true.
They just ruined the Steelers, but I still love the Steelers. No big deal. Bob, got a couple minutes here left, man. You got some touchdown picks for us, and then let us know, what you're up to and where we can find all your stuff, man.
You got it, man. One of the guys is kind of, as you segued me in, it was Boston Scott. If we're looking for some juice, and we're looking for a juicy touchdown guy, I think I got him at plus 450. He played 0% of the snaps in week 4 and week 5. Big old donut. Didn't get in the game. Week 6, he plays 14%. Then you got a bye week. Then he plays 25% last week and scores a touchdown. So he's trending up if you're looking for that type of play. Houston's rush defense is one of the worst in the league. It could be a blowout. For that reason, I see Boston Scott as being a little more valuable than Kenneth Gainwell, at least in that regard, from a value standpoint. And then the other guy is Dameon Pierce at plus 140. In most games, if it wasn't this big of an offensive disparity, you're looking at Dameon Pierce as a plus 100, plus 105, minus 110. So we're getting it at plus 140 because I think the game's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a little bit closer, at least in the first quarter to first half. So you may want to pivot to a Dameon Pierce first half touchdown, if anything. But Pierce and Boston Scott are my 2 guys tonight. I'm on.
I like that. Any thoughts, Kyle or Lawrence? You guys get down with Boston Scott, man? At least last touchdown.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Kenneth Gainwell earlier. I'm like, this dude got 1 carry last game.
He's their exclusive third down guy. And
if I want a backup running back these days, it's going to be Boston Scott.
Yeah, I actually like Boston Scott for DFS too. Like, I think this is a good game to play like true blowout caliber players if you're like playing large field stuff, like to try and lower your dupes.
Yeah.
Bobby Stanley giving out Bobby or Boston Scott. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you guys. I always love coming on. Whenever you want to have me back, I'm happy to be here. Over at Pickswise, all my articles are posted with them Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I'm starting to do some more NBA content for them. So check me out at Pickswise. And thank you as always for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
No
no,
doubt,
we
man.
appreciate you, man. Go enjoy all the sports. I know you're about to watch the Orlando Magic game, baby. That is the game of the night, Magic versus Warriors. So
Hello, Bankero. I'm loving you. They're my night pass team. They're my weekly
He's
league pass.
balling right now.
he's nasty. He's got the rookie of the year at minus 300 odds right now. He's
Yeah, he
he might
better.
just run away with it.
I got him at plus 250 before Chet tore his ankle in summer league. So it's feeling like a pretty good bet.
Oh yeah, you might as well just lock that one in. If you bet it on PointsBet, they might cash you out early because that's going to be a winner in like a month or two, my man. But we appreciate it as always. Best of luck with your bets tonight. Let's go, Boston Scott.
Later, folks.
All right, that's our man Bobby coming back 2 out of 3 weeks now. Where do you guys want to take it? Stardom, sit-ems? You guys want to answer some questions in the chat? What's the deal, Lawrence?
We get to some questions right now. Folks been waiting a little bit.
Let's kick it off with a trade. Mike Evans for Jonathan Taylor and Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll
so
see
too.
because of Jonathan Taylor. Maybe Jonathan Taylor missed this week. I would definitely take it if you a team that's in a winning position. Just the Cortland Sutton part is like, whatever. Like if he get back to his early season form, it ends up an even better trade for you. But you could just see it as Taylor for Evans straight up. Neither one is really lighting it up right now. So definitely take the running back if you're in need, especially. This is the number 1 pick we talking about right here.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that someone's offering that up.
I agree with Lawrence. Like I think Evans for Taylor trade up is a pretty reasonable thing to do. Getting the chance that Sutton resumes the like wide receiver 1 role he had through about a month, that's definitely like enough icing on top worth the gamble.
I think this one might be an easy question here for Wendy Smith. Damian Pierce or Jalen Waddle in a standard league? You guys still going with Waddle?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm still going with Waddle.
I would go with Waddle no matter who Damian Pierce is playing. He could be playing the Texans defense at practice. I still go Waddle.
I heard that. Pierce or Lenny?
Who they got? Who the Bucks got?
Rams, right? Rams?
Yeah, they're playing the Rams front seven. Leonard Fournette versus Aaron Donald.
I like Lenny for the receiving upside, especially. Give me playoff Lenny.
Me too.
If they make the playoffs this year.
Wild card loss, Lenny.
No postseason Lenny.
I love it. Pick 2, PPR, DeAndre Swift, Ramondre Stevenson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the no touchdown Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Deontay Foreman. Now the touchdown Deontay Foreman score, man. He's nasty. I like it. I picked him up. I started him. I was ecstatic last week. Him and Damian Pierce, ecstatic.
Yeah. I would assume we would go Ramondre Stevenson like off the rip right here, right? Yep. And the only thing that's keeping us from taking DeAndre Swift is how healthy is he gonna be coming into week 9. If he's gonna play, we have to assume that he's healthier than he was last week, right? I want to start Swift. Foreman is. I know it ain't CEH.
Yeah, it's not CEH for sure. I think I'd go Foreman. The role was so good last week. I get Chuba Hubbard's coming back, but the way Foreman's played, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for the team to give Hubbard that much run. And Swift, we've seen not only the week he came back, but the weeks before that, before he got hurt, they were already limiting his touches with Jamal Williams. So I'm going to go Foreman, and it hurts because Swift's awesome, but like they said coming out of the game, he's still not 100%. And I kind of want to wait to see, because you have a true 3-down back in Foreman, I'm going to wait and see what we have in Swift. If it was Swift for CH straight up, I'd be like, no, of course, like you gamble on Swift. There are situations to gamble. This just isn't one of them.
Yeah, Foreman, he was toting that rock, man. He was running.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like that one a lot here. We got another one, Gabe Davis involved. We got another Foreman and CAH dilemma, and then DJ Moore with Michael Pittman Jr. So a lot of talent here for the flex position, in my opinion, especially if you're a 12-team league.
This for one spot, I guess.
Seems like tough. Yeah, I mean, that's a load. That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of talent for
that man gave us a whole roster. In the one spot.
There's a family league out back.
Is that DJ Moore?
Yeah, DJ Moore.
We don't call him that. We don't call him. We call him J.
What's the nickname?
Moore.
Okay.
I call him the Carolina Reaper.
I mean, give me Deontay Foreman.
I think
Maybe
I'm gonna go DJ Moore.
Yeah, so there you go. You got two Panthers to choose.
Yeah, how did
from.
we end up on two Panthers?
I was just about to say, are you guys sure about that?
PJ Walker at quarterback too.
I mean, you don't want to take a shot at Michael Pittman like Jonathan Taylor didn't practice again. The Colts are one of my favorite bets of the week. I know everybody's going to be on the Patriots because the Colts are going to be terrible, but the Colts are that plus 5.5 road underdog trend that's cashed over 70% in the last 3 years. So I'm taking the Colts this weekend. But
I could like the Colts to win,
Michael
but not
Pittman.
take Michael Pittman here.
It's Patriots secondary is not that great though. I mean, we were trashing them before the season, so that's just my opinion. You guys can pick the Panthers.
Really not. Like
I'll take Pittman.
Yeah, Zach Wilson was having his way with the Patriots defense for like a quarter and a half, and then he started,
becoming
blessing
Russell Wilson
them.
2.0.
He start blessing them, so.
Yeah, I don't get why Zach Wilson decides to run 15 yards in the pocket, like backwards for 2-3 seconds and throw across the field.
It looks fun though.
It does look fun, but it's like against the
Madden
Bills, this has to end. This has to end for Zach Wilson. Lenny or Rashad White? We're getting to the point now where Rashad White's becoming that guy, right?
Nah, he getting more reps. He ain't that guy.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. I'll try again in a couple weeks.
Look, I want him to be that guy too. I have a lot of Rashad White bags, but we're not there.
Bro, I drafted him in double-digit rounds, and I'm holding on tightly. I'm trying not to cut him, man, because I know next year he might be, he that keeper for me. So I'm trying, but today we gotta go Lenny.
Yeah, I think that's a safe one. Can you guys get down with the Philip Dorsett touchdown tonight?
Can we get down with a Texans touchdown tonight? I will say this. You know what? That's interesting. Philip Dorsett in his career, a lot of deep balls, touchdowns. If there's any receiver I could see doing it for the Texans, out of him, Chris Moore, the Tyron Johnson, the other guy, it would be him. But the fact that I wasn't even thinking about that, I can't feel good about it. I can't feel great about it. I would just say that would be your best bet out of the Texans receivers.
Agreed. I actually like this angle because he used to play for the Colts, so he played the Texans, more than plenty of times. And he played for the Patriots too, right?
Patriots,
Patriots, and the Patriots played the Texans a few times. I just pulled up his stats here. They're just loaded. He has one career touchdown, came in 2018 against the Texans, but he's had 6, 7, 8 targets in 3 of his last 4 games against the Texans. Hasn't been since 2019. He's played them though, but
against who?
Philip Dorsett season. Is that what we're saying here? It's Philip Dorsett season.
You're saying he's against the Texans, but he's not playing against the Texans tonight.
Or
he's on the Texans.
True. He's on the Texans. Yeah, you're right. You got me there. Why don't you guys stop me earlier, man? Just let me.
You sounded confident. I didn't want to interrupt.
I pulled up the stats. It was taking a while. The computer's probably trying to let me know, like, bro, that's the wrong team.
You're right.
But all right, Devontae Smith, Devin Duvernay, or Joshua Palmer. Joshua Palmer's interesting.
This one tough.
I'm still going Devontae Smith. Eagles, I get they're not going to throw 40 times, but we should probably get 3 touchdowns through the air, or at least we have a very good chance of it. It probably is too strong of a word, but they project very well through the air, even if it doesn't mean volume. I'm going to bet on easily the most talented of these players on the best passing, at least efficiency wise, the best efficiency offense of these teams.
Yeah.
So you might get more volume for Palmer, but I'm just going to take the best player by a considerable.
I'm with you. I'm going to just go with you right here. I wrote about all 3 of these in my Flex article. Hey, Pat, Rick, you read my Flex articles every Wednesday. If you're not, you should now. I wrote about all 3 of these players in it.
Yeah, I feel like Devin Duvernay is definitely a boomer bust guy with his deep threat ability. Someone I don't feel comfortable betting on.
Maybe giving him some carries too.
Definitely helps. He had 2 last week. I do remember him getting 2 carries. He had 1 long one. Speaking about Josh Palmer again, CH making his name felt, Ramondre. So this guy got certainly another interesting list here. We know Keenan Allen could probably be out, so we take him out of this conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
gonna go
definitely-
Ramondre.
And that's correct. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
that. All right, easy one there for J-Rock. He's saying start 2 players: Damian Pierce, Miles Sanders, Lenny Fournette, Gabe Davis. He leans towards Pierce and Sanders, trying to go 2 Thursday Night Football guys in a run-heavy game. Not bad.
Sanders definitely won.
Probably do that.
Yes. You got it. You can continue. Is it?
I'm gonna
'Cause
go.
You rather take Lenny over Gabe
I
Davis?
don't want the receiver Gabe Davis. I can't sweat that out.
But Gabe could easily score 2 touchdowns against the Jets.
He
could
probably
easily
could
have
do
100
it
yards
the
against the
easiest
Jets.
out of anybody. He could do it the easiest. You're right on that. He could go 3 for 103 and 2 touchdowns. He could also go 3 for 13 and 0 touchdown. That's tough business. Like I got more faith in Leonard Fournette catching 6 passes for 36 yards, and I'm okay with that. If he put that 36 rushing yards with it, because that's all it's gonna be. But out that 36 rushing yards, it's gonna be a touchdown in there probably. So I guess I'll go Sanders and Lenny.
Me too.
If you would do a type of band or like the name your bet thing, and you'd pick Leonard Fournette more receiving yards than Gabe Davis a few weeks, the odds on that might have made you rich enough not to do this show, my brother.
So pick it on the right week.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If you just did it every week, like you'd probably make some really good money because there'd be those couple of weeks where he would get Gabe. I personally like Gabe Davis this week. He let me down betting in the previous game, but I think that he could have a huge game against the Jets. I did lay the points with them. I believe we already did this one here. We got another trade. Brandon Ayuk for Devin Singletary. This might be the oddest trade question we've got in weeks. Devin Singletary's picked it up lately.
It is an odd question. I don't know.
This is like, if
Would you like my 3 nickels for your dime and 5 pennies? These are perfectly fine players. I'm just saying. This isn't going to be the one that wins or loses you this season. I'll go with Devin Singletary.
Yeah,
the running back.
He clearly need a running back. So you got to take him. Just take the running back because you clearly need it. Especially after Nyheim Hines just came to the Buffalo Bills and you considering this, take Devin Singletary. At the end of the day, he's attached to that offense. Ride with it. Don't think too hard about it like we just did now.
Yeah, no, that's very true. What would you rank Ayuk? Is he a wide receiver 3 or 4? With and without Debo, what's his rank?
Without Debo, it's pretty high. It's like 22, 3, 4.
I about to say he probably a wide receiver 2 without Debo.
But with Debo, I know like he had a good 2 or 3 game stretch right before Debo went down where he was getting a pretty significant amount of targets. But throughout their history, Debo has found a way to out-target him, and so has Kittle. So I'm still a bit skeptical that he can be like, maybe he'll spike for wide receiver 2 weeks, but to be even consistently a wide receiver 3, he might struggle to do with Debo in the lineup.
I like that here. Sludge says the Eagles are going to destroy them, and he said if the Eagles lose, it's rigged. Sludge, you should probably buy into that Texans money line at plus 550, my guy. They only schedule the Texans at home on Thursday night probably for a reason. I don't know.
He said the Eagles.
They might be getting you guys.
There's a lot of whole other different games that I could think of that would make me think it was rigged instead of this one. I'll tell you that.
We will see what happens. I don't think the Eagles should lose this game by any means, but cover the 14. There may be some backdoor
wild upsets this year.
There have been, man. The underdogs have been barking all season. If you bet an underdog in every game, you'd be up 13 units this season. Guess the spread.
Big underdogs.
Oh yeah. I mean, bro, it's the name of the game. Like, do you think the Jets have a chance of beating the Bills this weekend? You guys?
No, to me, a lot of the upsets.
Wait. Who you think got a better chance of winning, the Texans tonight or the Jets?
I think it's the Jets.
Or the
I'm gonna say the Jets got a better
Chiefs.
chance.
Or
Giants versus Chiefs. That one's not even close. It'd be the best chance of an upset. I think Josh Allen has still done. He's awesome. Like I this is not to disparage him. He's still thrown some pretty hilarious interceptions this year. Like the error bands on him are just slightly wider. Like we're gonna get 1 or 2 bad games from him this year. They're still awesome. I still think they're the best team in the NFL. I just think that the sort of downside of their team, they're gonna have 1 or 2 weird games. It's going to happen. Whereas the way the Eagles play, like they've been so mistake free as an entire football team. So I'm gonna say I think the Bills have.
I go with them because of the Jets defense. Because maybe on that pick 6, and you just mentioned Josh Allen's weird looking interceptions. Let's say they get a pick 6 this time and it doesn't get negated by the roughing the passer call like he did against the Patriots. I trust the Jets defense more than the Houston Texans defense, and the Bills. I feel like they let the Packers in that game trying to stat pad. They were still throwing when they didn't have to. That's what caused his 2 interceptions, So if they're going to do that, then I feel like the Jets could go get them.
I was going to say, though, I think a lot of the big upsets have come from the market struggling to adjust to just how bad some of these washed teams are. Like the Packers-Jets is one of the
Bucks.
Exactly. Bucks, Rams, obviously, like the reigning Super Bowl champions, have just cliff dived. And for all of them, it's aging quarterbacks, among a million other things. Terrible offensive lines is like another consistent theme between them. But these like sharp shifts in teams that were really good, we have enough data now to say, at least enough data to at least make some educated guesses. On the Bills are not a team that has that sort of nosedive potential, maybe in a really bad Josh Allen game. But not every week is a nosedive for them like it was for, what were the Packers like favored over the Jets?
7.
Yeah, I'm about to say at least 6.
It was 7. Yeah. I bet the Packers 7 because that was when they were on the 13-0 ATS and moneyline streak coming off a win, and they went to New York and Aaron Rodgers was like, "We got this, yada yada," and then they lost. And next week he was like, "Great chance for us to show up, yada yada," and they lose again. Now they go to Detroit, and what does he say? Divisional game, yada yada. You guys are losing again.
Could beat anybody at home. Let us get to this man, Jamie Keels right here. Duvernay or Curtis Samuel. I'm gonna go Devin Duvernay.
Me too.
Yeah, easy one here. Lick Benito Martinez. Benito, great name, the name of Bad Bunny. Great concert I went to. He picked up Deion Jackson.
You just
Where do you guys rank
the hell out Jackson name right there. You don't. How you gonna just disrespect the Jackson name right there, dog?
Let us know from the Colts.
Thank you. That's the Deion Jackson he was referring to.
All right. Dorsett, Thorin, Osborne, or Parker for wide receiver. Wide receiver 2.
You want to talk about down bad? Woo.
For wide receiver 2.
For wide
damn. Wide receiver 22.
Dude, I hate to say it. I think it's Philip Dorsett. Like, of all these players, who's going to run the most routes and get the most targets as a percentage of their team's targets?
Damn. Is that Devontae Parker? Is he going to play?
Yeah, that's why I didn't know to answer him for sure, because I do know he's like a little banged up. I don't know if he's playing.
Man, that's some.
It's becoming the Philip Dorsett show.
Hey, listen, this is what I would say to this person. Go see if DeMarcus Robinson is on your waiver wire right now. Rashad Bateman out for the season. Check back with him before you start any of these people right here.
Devontae Parker was sidelined in practice. Is Thornton possible? Because I think Thornton might be good. I don't think he'll play a ton of snaps, but if Parker's out, I'll go Thornton.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to redeem myself here and go with Dorsett because he had a touchdown the only time he's ever faced the Eagles. 3 receptions, 5 targets, 33 yards, and a tutty.
Who was he playing for?
He was playing for the Patriots, 2019, November 17th. So, long time ago. The tool wants to know droppable. Hines, Robinson, Brian, and James Robinson. Tired of waiting for all of them.
These questions are great tonight.
James Robinson. Right? Keep James Robinson.
What you waiting on, man? You waiting for something good to happen? It probably ain't. I tell you. Look. For the Washington Commanders backfield, it seemed like Gibson is inching closer and closer to. It's like the Commanders don't want to play him, but he's forcing them to play them because he's the best one. Brian Robinson, you need 20 carries and a carry near the goal line to hope for any type of points. James
Gibson.
Robinson, on the other hand, I might still give him a chance because he only been with the team a week. You can't drop Nyheim Hines here. They traded for him for a reason. Remember, in the offseason, the Bills thought they had J.D. McKissick. I feel like they're making up for that right here with Nyheim Hines. So I would say, and I love Brian 50 Cent Robinson, but I would say drop him.
Totally agreed. It's the exact argument. Like, none of these players have great odds of being contributors to your fantasy team, but we have some sort of unknown upside attainable with James Robinson and Hines that, like, we know what we're getting with Robinson at this point. It's just a lot of inefficient carries, and he's not going to be involved in the passing game. So he's the one of all three that is the most droppable. Although you could probably make the argument for any of these guys.
Yeah, James Robinson, they have a bye week next week, so he's definitely gonna be more. You mean it sucks that you have him because I have him. I have to wait like 2-3 weeks for him to actually play and mean something. But I think when he plays, he will mean something. AJ Dillon over Damian Pierce, excuse me. Eagles D, great pick. Definitely start them tonight.
See, that's getting too cute.
Yep.
AJ Dillon could very well outscore Damian Pierce just because of a touchdown, but I'm not starting dude who gonna get 10 to 12 touches over a dude who gonna get 20, regardless of the matchup. We know Damian Pierce's role. I'm gonna assume Kyle agree. He's shaking his head, yeah. So I think we good on that.
Yep.
Ugly matchup for Damian Pierce, and even if you start the Eagles defense, that's cool too, because those two don't always relate. You could get an Eagles pick six. That's not gonna affect Damian Pierce's points. You know what I'm saying? But it'll be good for your Eagles defense. So I would say Damian Pierce.
I like that one here. We got some comments from the Buffalo Jets game. I agree, David. They're killing them. Toll says no way, not with them.
The other quarterback we're talking about is Davis Mills.
Right.
Both of these are very long shots.
Right.
I had to pick one.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, right. We feel better about the Jets beating the Bills than the Texans beating the Eagles, right?
I feel like garbage about both of these things. Neither of them are happening, but the question was posed to me. Doing like Seinfeld.
Yeah. We want to hear your opinion on the Niners tonight. Listening from Mexico. We definitely appreciate that. I think the Niners, honestly, have a very good shot of representing the NFC this year. They were my pick from the beginning of the year. I picked the Bucks and the Niners, my two NFC teams to throw some money on. I mean, with the CMC trade, I mean, it's really all in. And whenever Trey Lance got hurt, I was more convinced they were more of a postseason team with Jimmy G than Trey Lance. Long term, they're better with Lance, but short term, it's Jimmy G in my opinion. Do you guys have any opinions on the future of the Niners?
Yeah, especially the division they're in right now. Shocking. The division they're in right now is the
Gino
weirdest
and Jimmy.
shakeup. Yeah, it's the weirdest shakeup from start of season or preseason to where it is right now. But I think net, it has been good for the teams that have come out on top, Gino and the Seahawks and the 49ers now led by Jimmy, because the presumptive favorites, the Rams, are playing so poorly. And there just is not a light at the end of the tunnel for them to be a long-term, they don't have the 12, 13 wins in them in the regular season anymore. So it's a good long-term outlook. And the Cardinals, I mean, I get that they're putting things together a little bit with DeAndre Hopkins, but I still see them as a relatively weak team.
And I like that here. We definitely appreciate everyone for checking us out tonight and listening. We're going to go through our picks, stardom, sit-ems, all that stuff real quick for you guys. Get you into this game. Plenty of sports on, World Series, NBA, NFL, and college football, by the way. So, Kyle, you run through real quick your bets tonight and your stardom, sit-ems, all that good stuff.
Well, I've got you a bad tight end prop. Jordan Akins over 13.5. I said receptions. I meant receiving yards. He won't get the receptions on 13.5, but receiving yards, he's gotten over this in 4 or 5 games. Some of those were without Brevin Jordan, but all of those at least had Brandon Cooks. I assume all had Nico Collins too, or at least all but one. So even if we see more of Brevin Jordan or any of their other tight ends, I see Akins playing a vast majority of the snaps. 13.5 is a very low prop for a player who will get a lot of snaps. Not a particularly great player, but I'll take it. Fading Rex Burkhead under 19.5 receiving yards, simply based not on the fact that they will not have to throw because they're going to have to throw, but they've been going with Dameon Pierce. They've made it clear that even on third downs, on passing downs, they're still comfortable giving the ball to Pierce over Rex Burkhead, which Yep, that about checks out for me. I'd also want to be doing that. Sitting them, every Texans player not named Dameon Pierce. Do not convince yourself that this is a Brevin Jordan game. Do not convince yourself that Philip Dorsett could get there. These are false flag operations that you want no part of. So I would not play them. And it's hard to find a stardom in this game because like everyone like start your Eagles, don't start your Texans. That's about the theme of it. But I do like Dallas Goedert as I think I have him as a top 6 tight end, might have him top 5.
I like it. Rolling with it. Lawrence, what do you got tonight, my friend?
Yeah. So he's going to go under on Rex Burkhead, 19.5 receiving yards. I'm going to go Dameon Pierce over 19.5 receiving yards. It kind of relates to our guy Bobby's prop earlier from 86.5 rushing and receiving. Depending, especially if you get the negative game script here, you got a bigger chance of that happening. We saw Dameon Pierce last week get the garbage touchdown on a reception. Then I'm gonna go Davis Mills under 1.5 rushing yards. He's done it the past 2 games, but he didn't do it in the 2 games before that. And I think tonight he's just gonna be too scared to even try to run that ball. When it comes to my stardom and sit-ems, again, I like Devontae Smith in every way and fashion here. He got a chance to get back on track here. Like I said earlier, the Eagles may get in a lead, start running the ball, but they got to get that lead first. Last week, they got it with A.J. Brown. This week, they get it with Devontae Smith. I'm sitting Chris Moore. I just named any Texans receiver that's playing tonight. You can put Philip Dorsett here, too. Even if Philip Dorsett get the touchdown, sit him. And I'm going to go highest fantasy score. I'm still going to go with Devontae Smith. And my long shot is for Devontae Smith to get 2 touchdowns at plus 650. That's how I'm going to ride this thing out.
Big Devontae Smith night. I like to hear that because my prop, I only play for tonight, is A.J. Brown under 7.5 receiving yards. Thought this was too high, although his season average is about 94 yards per game. Against the Texans, they won't need to throw the ball very much. They're going to be running pretty heavy here. In his last 7 games dating back to 2020, after a 100-yard performance, he has only gone over 69 yards once in that span. So give me all Devontae Smith tonight. I'm with you. Give me none of A.J. Brown, and that's my wide receiver 1 in fantasy that I'm betting against tonight. So that's how I feel about it. So we appreciate everyone watching as always. Make sure you guys go smash that like button for us. Subscribe to the NBC on NFL YouTube channel. Kyle Dvorchak tweets. Kyle tweets here on Twitter. Lawrence Jackson at Lord Don't Lose. I'm Vaughn Dalzell, V-Money Sports. We see you guys for the next primetime football game. That should be much better than this one, hopefully. We'll see you. Go Texans money line.